Another fight that's playing out right now in Florida, that's over who can vote. The state suing the White House for allegedly refusing to help the state stop non-citizens from voting. Here now is Republican Florida State Senator Blaise Ingoglia. He was also the former Florida GOP chairman from 2015 to 2019. Good morning to you. Thanks so much for being here. Let's start with this legal fight. How widespread is this issue in the state?
Yeah, I think it's widespread all over the United States. One of the problems that the states have is that the federal government is not sharing information and will not tell us who are in the country illegally. So there's no way for us to cross-check if somebody signs a voter registration form and they are not accurate in their attestation if they're a U.S. citizen. So without that information from the federal government, we have no way to double-check that information, and hence the lawsuit.
What do you think has been the most undervalued segment of voters in Florida in this election cycle? Who's getting ignored that may make a difference?
Look, I think for the last 3.5 years, regular people, the middle class has been largely ignored by this administration. And there is a certain amount of anxiety, if you will, from people that I talk to every day. They don't know what the next day is going to bring because they go to the grocery stores, they see the higher prices, they see that real estate prices are starting to creep away from them, where the idea of home ownership isn't attainable anymore, or it's harder to attain. And they put that directly on the Harris-Biden administration. So for them, it is getting back to affordability and accountability. And I think that's just not here in Florida. I think that's nationwide.
You've got a number of issues that are driving people to the polls. The economy, generally number one, but you've got a presidential race. But in Florida, you also have a Senate race, which is important, and you have an abortion issue on the ballot. What do you hear is driving people and influencing their vote?
Yeah, I hate to break it to the Democrats, but the abortion amendment isn't driving people to the polls in the state of Florida. It is the economy, it is the inflation, it is inflation, and it is immigration. Now, obviously, it's a constitutional amendment for abortion, so that is going to obviously be voted on. But it's not the driver that they thought it would be, because if it was, you'd start seeing that in the numbers right now, and you're just not.
There have been some Republicans who are now backing Kamala Harris, several from your state that we've had on our air here at NewsNation. How damning is that for Donald Trump in your state, for voters, particularly there, who are paying attention?
I'm sorry, I have to laugh when I keep on hearing that, because I've been in politics for a long time. I've been an elected official for 10 years. When I saw the list of Republicans that were backing Kamala Harris, I'm not going to lie, I had to Google them. I had to look them up on Wikipedia, because nobody knows who they are.
But they're out there, and they're not just in Florida. Let's talk about the storm damage on the west side of the state. Double whammy with these two storms. How is that going to impact voter turnout, and what are you seeing within the election officials to mitigate some of the challenges and obstacles for people to vote?
Yeah, that's a great question. First of all, it's really not going to affect overall turnout. Traditionally, it never has. People in Florida always find a way to vote. But the Governor DeSantis, put out an executive order the other day, and basically it was based on listening to local supervisors of elections in each county and asking them what did they need. And there was only two counties, Taylor County and Pinellas County, that asked for some leeway in terms of time frames as prescribed by Florida statute. Basically, it's going to go off without a hitch. Although it was devastating hurricanes, this is not our first rodeo, because hurricane season usually hits during election season. So we know how to govern ourselves and get people to the polls and make sure it's efficient as possible.
Yeah, good to see that things are getting better for a lot of folks. Still a long road of recovery ahead. Finally, we've been learning a lot about Florida this week, talking to a number of voters with different political backgrounds. Tell me how long you've lived in the state, your background, and something that you love about your state that maybe most wouldn't know.
Yeah, actually, I've never been asked that question. I moved here in 1996. I moved out of New York City because it was just too high tax. There was so much regulation. I wanted to start a business in New York, and it was just so onerous that I decided to move to Florida, because it's much, much easier to open up a small business here in the state of Florida. And that's one of the things that I love. I just think there is a lot more opportunity in the free state of Florida than there are in other larger, more Democrat-led states.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.